Hello YouTube, and welcome to my second tips and tricks video. And in this episode I am going to be showing you 3 more tips and tricks. Now in this first video I'm going to be covering the hidden bed, the Shadowstalker or the Grizzly, whichever one's stronger, and the Trapdoor. So first off, let's start with the hidden bed. So what you're going to want is a bedroll and any type of locker or whatever. Now what you want to start off with is a bed. Let's put it down here, and then let's claim it. Now random people could just walk up and break it down, right? What you want to do is get your locker and place it on top of it. This works better in a flat surface, so let me do that real quick. Get some flat surface like here. The closer it is to a tree, and the more useless the lockers look, the more useful it is. Now this one really works more on a creative server, but what I like doing is I like using the pine crates, because people, if you put pine crates out in the middle of the wild, no one will suspect it. Like, let's say, here's my bedroll actually. Let's say I put it right here, and then I put it like this, and I take my crate and I put my crate on top of the bed. Now this will look even more useless. So let's say here is an enemy coming over here, and they see all these crates. They look inside the crate, nothing, 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 and nothing. And then they will just walk away. But the truth is you have a bed underneath. So that's basically with hidden bed. Now the next thing is the Shadowstalker versus the Grizzly. Now this one I have been trying to figure out which one is better for a long time now, but I just can't figure out which one's better. Now the Shadowstalker, let's say I get a 6-seater vehicle, 2 of them. Let's actually turn it today so you can see easier. Turn this off. Let's get our 6-seater vehicles, one right here and one right here. Now this is the strength of a Shadowstalker. 1 shot, 2 shots, right? There we go, boom. Now the Grizzly. 1 shot. Why did I reload? 2 shot, 3 shot. Now this proves to you that the Shadowstalker is actually more powerful. Let me show you that again. But there is one flaw about the Shadowstalker. It only has 1 round every what do you call it? 1 shot every round. So you see there, it took 2 shots, and then the Grizzly 1, 2, 3. And then, but then the only thing, the Grizzly has more ammunition in every magazine. So you see how it has 5 down here, and then the Shadowstalker has 1. Shadowstalker shoots really slowly. Now I do have an adaptive chambering on these. Get some more rails. Sorry about that. Now if I take this off, that does slow the fire rate a tiny bit. This is the Grizzly without, with the actual range adaptive chambering. That's pretty fast, right? Now, if you don't have it for some reason, it still shoots pretty fast. But the only problem is, so here is what is the difference. Shadowstalker, it does more damage. The Grizzly does less damage, but it shoots faster and has 5 times as much bullets in its magazine. Now, this isn't really a tip, but it sort of is, because every time I see someone sniping, they're either using the Grizzly or the Timberwolf. Timberwolf does have more magazines, but it does less damage. I prefer using the Shadowstalker because it does more damage and it's easier to find. As you can see, the Shadowstalker is apparently a legendary. I thought it was going to be something less, but it is more common. As you can see, it's found in Scorpion 7 and I believe somewhere over here where the alien spaceship crash thing is. Yeah, it's over there. But this Grizzly, it actually doesn't spawn on this map, I don't think, if I remember correctly. I don't know what map it spawns on, but it's way more rare. And every time I go on the creative server, I see people using the Grizzly, which does less damage, but also another thing about the Shadowstalker, you see how I'm firing right now? It just hits the ground. Now, when you see the Shadowstalker, you see that little explosion. I can't really see it from that far, but if I shoot the ground, you see my health. I took 5% health. Let me show you again. This time that was 3% health. So you could tell it has AoE. As for the Grizzly, nothing. So that's another thing about the Shadowstalker. Like, you could probably hit someone. Well, you could definitely hit someone just by shooting them, just by shooting next to them. Like this. Right there, 4 damage. But I'm shooting myself, so I take less damage. If I got a headshot on someone using full ghillie armor with the Shadowstalker, it would one-shot them. As the Grizzly, I don't think it would, although it might. It probably would, but the Shadowstalker, there is a combination of armor that makes it so you can survive a Grizzly shot. Grizzly headshot, you'd last on about 20% health, as if you use the Shadowstalker, you'd probably die because you probably end up at least on 5% health. Now that's the difference between the two. I'm not going to get too far into it, but if you would like to see more of the differences of some weapons, I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, that's it for now about the Grizzly versus the Shadowstalker. Now, the next tip is the Trapdoor. Hold on, actually, I forgot to show you. Let me grab all of this back up. The Shadowstalker, another way to see which one is stronger, you could shoot this. Now, right now I'm shooting the doorknob. So far that's 3 hits, 4 hits, 5, 6, 7. And as you see, it takes a really long time. Although the Grizzly, it does shoot faster. But this might take a shorter amount of time because it actually shoots faster and it does about the same amount of damage as the Grizzly. Now, I didn't actually get to destroy these little things, but you probably get the point by now that the Shadowstalker does do way more damage. Now let's move on to the third and final tip. The Trapdoor. So let's say you found this little thing over here. Nothing looks suspicious, right? Nothing on top. Nothing in front. That looks suspicious. You might think there's a sentry inside, but you see how there's this metal wall here? And there's this wooden door. Now, if someone was running away from another person, they wouldn't care, and they just run ahead, open the door, walk into these traps. This is a really neat tip. If you wanted to make a trap for someone, like let's say you don't want raiders to get you, so they open the door and they run in and they step in these. Boom. The snare breaks their legs, and they probably would run into the barbed wire too. So yeah, that's about it for this episode. So far we covered the hidden bed right over here or over there somewhere. The Shadowstalker versus the Grizzly. The Shadowstalker does more damage. The Grizzly fires faster and that kind of stuff. And then the Trapdoor, where some enemy runs, walks in, and steps into all this. Yeah. That's what we covered in this episode. And if you wonder how I did this little thing in the beginning, if you wondered how I did this thing in the beginning of the episode, I will then watch the first episode of my tips and tricks, because in that video I showed you how to do that kind of stuff with that one and how their lights move. Now, thanks for watching this episode on tips and tricks, and I hope to see you in the next video. See you in the next video. I said that.